Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's session. Today we will go for Chemistry Paper 2, Major 2025, Variant 2. Let's go. Question 1. An ice cube melts. What happened to the molecules of water in the ice cube? So we know initially when it's in solid state, the arrangement is packed with each other, but when they form liquid, the particles are further apart and the attraction forces between the molecules are overcome. That's why they gain energy from the surrounding. That's why if we continue to heat them, the temperature increase until the melting point, the energy is absorbed so that it can change the state. Question 2. A sample of liquid X is heated to temperature above its boiling point. So we sketch ourselves. Boiling point is here. So it will heat to this position. X is then cooled so that it condenses. So condense go back to the boiling point and then it freeze. Freeze, it will go below because this region is liquid, this region is gas. So to freeze, it must go back to the solid state, which is the melting point, which is here. So we check the answer is D. Part 3. Which row gives the number of proton, electron, and neutron of zinc? This we just refer back to the periodic table. We know proton have 30. Electron also 30 because it's an atom. Proton, electron must have same number. And then neutron would be this minus this is 35. Answer is A. Number 4. Which particle have the electronic configuration of 288? For sodium, it's 281, but when they remove out one electron, it becomes 28. So not this answer. And then aluminium 3 plus initially is 283. So remove 3 electron to form 3 plus. So this also not because it will become 28. Argon is 288, correct. Chloride ion is initially 287, but plus 1 electron to become 288. So 4 also correct. So answer is B. Question 5. A sample of element Q has 2 isotopes. This is the abundance. What is the relative atomic mass of the sample of Q to 3 significant figures? So this we do calculations. You get 240. Answer is A. Question 6. Which statement about silicon oxides is correct? It conducts electricity. No, it's covalent. So covalent usually do not conduct electricity, and that is like graphite have freely moving electron. Here don't have. B. It has a giant covalent structure which each silicon bonded to 4 atoms. Yes, this is the reason that it can have the 3D shape. C. It is a simple covalent molecule, not simple. It is a giant covalent molecule. And D. It says its structure is similar to graphite. No, graphite is 2D, silicon oxide is 3D. Number 7. When 65 grams of zinc react with this sulfur, 97 grams of zinc sulfide is produced. When the same number of zinc react with more sulfur, but the mass of zinc sulfide is still the same, which means zinc is the limiting factor. Sulfur is in excess. That's why how much sulfur we add also it won't affect because it's already in excess. So zinc is the limiting reactant, correct. 8. Aluminium react with iron 3 oxides to form aluminium oxides and iron. Which chemical equation for the reaction between aluminium and iron 3 oxides is correct? So aluminium, iron 3 oxides will form aluminium oxides and Fe. We do balancing, so it's D. Number 9. The concentration of a solution of aqueous NaOH is 0.5 mol per dm cube. Which mass of sodium hydroxide is used to make 500 cm cube of this solution? Here we need to use some formula. We know that give you concentration and volume. Then we can use this to find the number of mole. Concentration 0.5. Volume is 500. So you get the number of mole is 0.25. So after you know the number of mole, they ask you how many grams. So we know mass equals to number of mole times the molar mass. So the molar mass for NaOH is NaOH is 1. You get answer is 10 gram. Answer is A. Question 10. Molten zinc oxides is electrolyzed using inert electrode. Which row identify the product of each electrode? Every time we do electrolysis, I will do this. Cathode, anode. Molten state. So cathode only have zinc ion and then anode have oxides ion. So cathode here will produce zinc, anode here will produce oxygen. 10 is C. Why here we do not need to choose OH and H because it's not the aqueous situation. Molten is the easiest because they only have one cation and one anion. Directly discharge them. 11. Dilute aqueous NaCl is electrolyzed using platinum electrode. So again, cathode, anode, and this is an inert electrode, so it won't affect. And dilute also, the anode here won't get affected. So NaCl, HOH will discharge the less reactive ion. So this is lower in the electrochemical series. Same go to this. Then they ask for cathode. Cathode is H plus. Question 12. Hydrogen-oxygen fuel cell can be used to power vehicles. Which statement about hydrogen-oxygen fuel cell is correct? A. Equation for the overall reaction is these two. We are using these two as reactant, but the product is not this. Product is H2O, so number 1 is wrong. B. The only chemical product are water, but no carbon dioxide because you use hydrogen and oxygen only. So how come it will form CO2? It's impossible. C. Chemical energy in the fuel is converted into electrical energy. Yes. D. The hydrogen used in hydrogen-oxygen fuel cells is from fossil fuels. No longer using fossil fuels. Fossil fuels will always contain a C and it will produce carbon dioxide. Hydrogen-oxygen cell won't have this problem. 13. A reaction pathway diagram is shown. They absorb more heat, so it's endothermic. The temperature surrounding is absorbed by the system, so that's why it's cooled down. Type of reaction is endo. Temperature of surrounding is decreasing. 14. The average bond energy of CH is this. What is the enthalpy change when 1 mole of methane? We know methane is like this. So it has 4 bonds from carbon and hydrogen atom. When we break bond, we absorb energy, so it's a plus. When we form bond, it release energy, so it's negative. So times 4 and negative is here. 15. Which statement describes the effect of adding catalyst to a chemical reaction? One that says the activation energy is increased. No. Provide an alternative pathway that have lower activation energy. B. The enthalpy change of the reaction stay unchanged. Yes. Lower activation energy, but the enthalpy change will remain unchanged. So it's B. The frequency of collision is the only reason is it provide an alternative path that have lower activation energy. Kinetic energy also not affected. So wrong. 16. Which role describe the condition used in manufacture of sulfuric acid by contact process? So we learn contact process and also Haber process. Make sure you know how to differentiate them. Contact process, we use vanadium oxide. Iron is for Haber process. And then for contact process, it use 2 atmospheric pressure. Here we use 200 atmospheric pressure. And then both of them using 450 degrees C. So the pressure is considered low and temperature is still high. So answer is D. 17. Which equation shows the underlying species acting as a reducing agent? Means that they oxidize themselves. So let's see. Initially here is Fe3 plus, at last is Fe0. It's reduced. So it's oxidizing agent. This Fe from 0 become 2 plus, so it's oxidizes. Then it is reducing agent. 2 plus become 3 plus, oxidize, so it's reducing agent. Fe here is plus 2, become plus 2. So the charges no change, so not oxidation, not reduction. So answer is just 2 and 3. 18. A farmer incorrectly adds 2 substances to the soil at the same time. They react together to form a gas which turns damn red litmus paper blue. So obviously this is an alkaline. What are the 2 substances? The thing that will form alkali or most probably is ammonia gas, will be ammonium salt and basic oxides. For example, if we use NH4Cl plus CaO, it will form CaCl2 plus NH3 plus H2O. Then it will release ammonia gas. 19. Which shows the equation for the dissociation of HCl in carbonic acid in the aqueous solution. This is strong acid, so it is one direction, completely dissociate. Both of this correct. Ethanoic acid is weak acid, so these two correct. So the answer is A. 20. Which three oxides are all acidic? We know from group 1 to group 7, initially it is alkaline. Then group 3, it will form amphoteric. After group 3, it will form acidic oxide. So not group 2, and then not group 1, so it's C. 21. The table shows some properties of noble gas, which row predicts the density and boiling point of krypton. So we see the density is actually increasing, so this will be in between 1.8 and 5.9. So maybe these two. And then the boiling point is keep increasing also, so this will be in between -186 to -108. So it's just C. They will form a trend in a group. 22. Sodium is a group 1 metal. What is physical properties of sodium? It is non-conductor. No, all metal can conduct. High melting point is not that high compared to the transition element, and the density is considered low compared to the transition element. Malleable, yes, it's a pure metal, so it's confirmed malleable. 23. Tennessine is the manufactured element that is below S13 in group 7 of the periodic table. What is the expected state of tennessine at room temperature and pressure? So group 7, we know it's from gas change to liquid. At last, it's solid. So when it's very, very low, confirm it's a solid. Question 24. When chlorine is bubbled into aqueous sodium bromide, a displacement reaction occurs. Which description of this reaction is correct? It is actually group 7 displacement, so we don't need to consider about the ion name. We just say chlorine displaces bromine because this is the reactivity of group 7. We are comparing the group 7 reactivity, so we just name based on the normal group 7 name. 25. Brass is an alloy of copper. Which statement about brass or copper is correct? Brass does not conduct electricity. No, even its alloy, it still can conduct electricity because of the freely moving electron. B. Copper conducts electricity because its atoms are free to move. No, it's an electron. C. Brass is harder than copper because its layer of atom cannot easily slide over each other. Yes, correct. Because the shape of atom is a bit different, so it cannot easily sliding through each other. That's why it's stronger and harder. D. Copper is stronger than brass. No, because it's pure metal. Pure metal is softer compared to the alloy. 26. The ionic equation for some reaction between metals and aqueous metal ions are shown. So we know whichever prefer to become ion is in higher position, so we can confirm copper is higher than silver. Magnesium is higher than zinc. And then zinc is higher than copper, so we can confirm these two can move up. Then Sn is above Cu, but they do not show Sn is above or below Mg or Zn. Question asks you which further statement can use to place these in order of reactivity. So we need the position of Sn. So A, they say zinc react with Sn. If zinc react with Sn, we can confirm Sn is placed here. So this is a very important information. Copper and Sn, we already confirm Sn is above copper, so it won't help. Magnesium and copper, we already confirm, and same goes to magnesium and silver, we also confirm. So only A is the extra information that help us to arrange them. 27. Zinc is used to galvanize iron to prevent it from rusting. Which statement are correct? First, galvanizing is an example of barrier method. Actually, yes, it's cold outside, so it prevents iron from direct contact for water and also oxygen. If the zinc is scratched, the iron will rust very quickly. Actually, no, because first, it can act as barrier method, but even if this barrier is removed, it still can act as a sacrificial protection because zinc is more reactive. That's why it will oxidize more readily than iron. That's why it will oxidize instead of iron. Number 4, zinc is more reactive than iron. Yes. So accept electron more readily. No, they will remove electron. If they accept electron, they become anion. None of the metals will become anion. They always become cation. So number 4 is not correct. So answer is B. 28. Which equation represents a reaction that occurs in a blast furnace during the extraction of iron from hematite? So iron 2 become iron by using carbon monoxide. We will not use calcium for this. So answer is donkey, obviously. 29. Water is added separately to anhydrous copper 2 sulfate and to anhydrous copper 2 chloride. Which of the color change is correct? Copper sulfide is white to blue, cobalt chloride is blue to pink. Answer is C. This you need to remember. 30. Gases which cause acid rains form in car engine. These gases can be removed using a catalytic converter. Which equation represents the removal of one of these gases using a catalytic converter? We don't want to remove CO2. We want to remove carbon monoxide and also nitrogen oxides. So correct. They are transferring the oxygen from nitrogen monoxide to carbon monoxide. So both of them are safe after that. We don't need to remove nitrogen, and we are reducing nitrogen oxides. So impossible we add oxygen to it. We will make it into nitrogen only. So D is wrong. 31. Which statement about carbon dioxide is correct? Carbon dioxide absorbs thermal energy from the earth. Yes, that's why it traps the heat. Carbon dioxide increase thermal energy lost to space. Energy unable to lost to the space, that's why global warming. Number 3, the level of carbon dioxide in atmosphere has increased due to the burning of fossil fuels. Yes, because fossil fuels contain carbon, so when we burn, it will form CO2. Carbon dioxide is the only gas that causes global warming. No, actually we have more, we have methane, we have others. So only 1 and 3 is correct. 32. What is the structure formula for butane 2O? So we draw it out. Butane have 4 carbon. 2O means the OH is on the second carbon. All the others with hydrogen. So it's CH3 and then CHOH. This is wrong because it only have 3 carbon. So we write down CH2, CH3. These two also cannot because these two, the OH is on the side, so it's not butane 2, it's butane 1. So the only answer is D because they read from the right. Okay, because we know we can name the carbon from left to right or right to left. So CH3, CH2, CHOH, CH3, correct. 33. Methanol react with ethanoic acid to form ester, which display formula for this ester. So we know we drawing that time, we always draw ethanoic acid first, and then methanol, and the OH must put here. Then the H2O remove. So this is the ester that's formed. So here correct, here correct. Here wrong because we got 2 carbon, so it's only C. 34. Petroleum can be separated into useful fraction by fractional distillation. Which row shows the correct use of the name fraction? Bitumen. Bitumen is the longest chain, so it's used to put on the surface of the root, so it's not for lubricant. And then naphtha is used to make chemicals. Refinery gas used as a fuel. And then kerosene used as jet fuel is correct. So it's C. 35. Ethane react with chlorine in the presence of ultraviolet. Which product is formed? So this ethane, it will slowly replaced by Cl. If this H come out and replaced by Cl, the H comes out will react with the Cl that is balanced, so to form HCl. And then here will be CH3, CH2Cl. So this is correct. So it won't form hydrogen. Hydrogen is not the final product. And then this is correct, but here is wrong because it's substitution. Impossible, it will form alkene. 36. Ethanol can be made by fermentation of aqueous glucose and by catalytic addition of steam to ethene. What are two advantages of making ethanol by catalytic addition of steam rather than using the fermentation? So first is faster, yes, and then renewable raw material, no. Renewable raw material is the advantages of fermentation. Purer product, yes, and then faster reaction, yes. So answer is B. Renewable raw material is wrong. Continuous process, yes. Use more energy. This is the disadvantages, okay? And form purer product is correct. 37. The structure of a polymer repeat unit is like this. Which pair of monomer are used to make this polymer? So we know amide bond. Initially, here is H, here is OH. So let's see. Here NH, NH. This one correct? Correct? No, no. Here initially we have 4C. Yes, so B. 38. Which item of apparatus is used to measure exactly this amount of liquid? Cannot use pipette. Pipette is a fixed volume. Cannot have this 0.3. To be accurate, we use this. Burette is the best. 39. A mixture containing an aqueous salt and an insoluble salt is filtered. Which row describe X and Y? X is the residue. Y is the filtrate because it contains the aqueous salts. Cannot say it's pure water. 40. Pure ethanol has a melting point of -114 and boiling point of 78. What are the melting point and boiling point of sample of ethanol with glucose dissolved on it? Glucose the range larger, so it will be lower than -114 and higher than 78. So it's B. So this is the end of today's session. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my video. And if you have any question, please feel free to comment here. See you in the next class. Bye-bye.